Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a wild mythological origin story, and it's narrated by none other than Krishna himself. It's a tale that literally blends the utterly terrifying with the absolutely miraculous. We're talking about the birth of one of mythology's most formidable figures, a story packed with despair, divine intervention, and, believe it or not, the incredible power of household devotion. Let's get into it.
So, how did a fragmented child become a legendary king, right? Let's dive into this bizarre mystery. Imagine a king faced with the ultimate tragedy, a son born in broken pieces. But then an incredibly unlikely figure steps in to bring him to life. How does a child go from literally being in pieces to becoming a legendary ruler whose strength is compared to a roaring fire? To figure this out, we really need to look closely at the source text and the wild supernatural forces at play here.
Section 1. The Mystery of Jarasandha, a king's despair and a supernatural intervention.
Moving right along to Section 2, meet the goddess Jara, the household goddess.
To understand what happened to the king's son, we have to meet the powerful, shape-shifting entity behind this whole miracle. In Krishna's telling, she doesn't beat around the bush. She introduces herself to the king with a super bold declaration, proudly announcing that she is a Rakshasa, which, if you know the lore, is an incredibly powerful and often terrifying demonic being. But here's the twist. She says she's living happily right there in his house, and she's worshipped by everyone. She then goes on to explain her true cosmic purpose. She tells the king that the self-create, that is, the supreme creator Brahma himself, specifically gave her the title of Grihadevi. This basically cements her role as an essential celestial guardian. And Grihadevi literally translates to household goddess. You know how we all want our homes to feel safe and protected? Well, she wasn't just some random spirit wandering the halls. She was a deity explicitly placed in the world to oversee the home and protect it from the inside out. Now, what's really fascinating here is the incredible duality of Jara. On one hand, she has this terrifying destructive power. She was originally created to destroy the Danavas, these massive demonic adversaries. But on the other hand, she has this incredibly benevolent, nurturing nature. For the humans who actually welcome her into their homes, she brings profound prosperity. All she really wants is daily offerings of scents and flowers, and she's perfectly happy. Talk about two extremes, right? But she does lay out some very specific rules to stay in her good graces. To keep your household from falling into decay, you have to follow her instructions to the letter. You need to paint her likeness on your walls, depicting her full of youth, and surround her image with children. Plus, you have to worship her every single day with incense, food, and flowers. It's definitely quite a list of demands for a celestial house guest. But because this highly virtuous king faithfully maintained this vibrant daily devotion, Jara felt compelled to return the favor in a massive way. Section 3. The Miraculous Union, bringing the fragments together. This daily worship we just talked about, it builds into an absolutely incredible act of resurrection. The king's devotion is rewarded in a way he never could have seen coming. The text tells us that it just so chanced that Jara beheld the fragmentary bodies of the king's son, and without even a moment's hesitation, she physically unites these broken pieces. Just like that, a spark is ignited, and a living, breathing child is miraculously formed right out of those tragic fragments. Jara makes it abundantly clear that repairing a mortal infant is, well, child's play for her. She casually mentions that she's capable of swallowing the mountain of Meru itself. Now, Mount Meru is the center of the universe in this mythology. It's a massive, unfathomably huge peak. By stating she could just swallow it whole, she puts her own vast, terrifying power into perspective for us. To a being of her magnitude, putting a tiny, fragmented child back together is literally effortless. But why did she actually do it? She emphasizes that this life-giving gift is a direct reward for the king's devotion and the daily worship she received in his house. It wasn't just random luck or a fluke. This miracle was practically a transaction of faith. She explicitly says she was gratified. The king created this environment of deep respect and devotion, and in return, the universe, acting directly through Jara, stepped in to heal his absolute worst tragedy. Section 4. A legend is born, the rise of King Jarasandha. So, the household goddess just vanishes then and there, leaving the king holding a perfectly whole, living son. And the grateful monarch doesn't just celebrate the boy privately, he publicly honors the Rakshasa woman. He performs all the traditional rites of infancy and throws a massive festival for his people. It's such a beautiful, if maybe slightly ironic moment. Instead of hiding the fact that his kid was pieced together by a fearsome, flesh-eating Rakshasa, the king publicly elevates Jara, making sure her name is celebrated across the entire kingdom. The king, who is described in the text as being equal to Brahma himself in grandeur, decides to name his new son Jarasandha. He does this to forever commemorate the fact that the boy's life was restored by Jara. Jarasandha literally means united by Jara. By doing this, the king weaves the Rakshasa's legacy directly into his own royal lineage. The boy's entire identity will forever be tied to the household goddess who saved him. And the texts use a really vivid mythological simile to describe the kid's rapid growth, comparing his surging bulk and strength to a roaring, well-fed fire. Think about pouring clarified butter, or ghee, into a ritual fire. It flares up instantly, right? It burns so much hotter and brighter. Well, that is exactly how Jarasandha grew. And dude, with all this intense energy, he didn't just grow up normally. He practically exploded with vitality and power. And the text also notes he was increasing day by day, like the moon in the bright fortnight. Just as the moon waxes to its fullest during those 14 days leading up to a full moon, the young prince grew daily. It's a much softer metaphor than the raging fire, but it's equally powerful. After the utter tragedy of his fragmented birth, watching him grow up whole and bright like the moon was the ultimate enhancement of his parents' joy. As we wrap up this explainer, this incredible tale leaves us with a really fascinating question to ponder. Do our greatest strengths and most profound miracles sometimes come from the most unlikely or even monstrous of allies? A terrifying Rakshasa, a being capable of swallowing a mountain, became the nurturing savior of a royal dynasty, all because of consistent, respectful devotion. It's a brilliant reminder that in these ancient stories, immense power and profound benevolence are often just two sides of the exact same coin. Thanks for joining me to unpack this one, and I hope it leaves you wanting to explore even more of the incredible narratives hidden within our histories.